And I thought maybe Jen was playing a prank on me. I'm like, this is where I was supposed to go, right? Because I didn't remember when the brewery was here. I would come over a couple times for, something to do, I suppose. Anyway, I am glad to be here to speak about the Community Foundation and what Galesburg Community Foundation does, and really just what community foundations can do where they're located. Our community foundation is unique, and within the community foundation field, everyone always says if you've seen one community foundation, you've seen one community foundation. Some of them start rather organically when a group of people want to get together to just pool wealth. Some start like ours did at the sale of a hospital or something like that. We're only a 7-year-old organization, but we are what's called a healthcare conversion foundation. Cottage Hospital was a nonprofit hospital located in Galesburg, and when it was sold to a for-profit company, the nonprofit assets that had been given to that hospital could not transfer over in the purchase agreement. So instead of parceling out the resources, they decided to keep them all together and form something that could carry on the healthcare focus of what the hospital was. That was in 2004. Actually, that was when I moved to the Galesburg community, and I think Jen started working here in Elmwood. In 2008, they approached me and hired me to be their executive director because they needed some organizational development. They didn't exactly know what they wanted their community foundation to be. They were sitting on an endowment of right around $16 million, but didn't know what their vision was or what their mission was or how they wanted to resource nonprofit organizations. And so when I started, that's the very first thing that we did. We came up with a strategic plan for ourselves because being this healthcare conversion foundation, our community foundation had some identity issues. We were trying to tell people what we were not. We were not a health foundation any longer. We were not supporting the hospital. I quickly said, the better story is tell people what you are. But before we could tell people what we were, we had to figure that out, which is where the strategic plan came in. And so that was done in the end of 08, beginning of 09. And I can remember the board meeting very vividly in my mind, but and I don't exactly know how it all came together. I do know the person who said it, but the comment was, rather than thinking about the health, just health, like as we've done for years, why don't we think about the health of our community? And the health of our community is more than just health care. It's education, it's access to the arts, it's physical activity, and it is health care. And when we turned that corner, it was like my board just started to really click with what a community foundation was and what community foundations could do. We have since kind of further developed this idea of a healthy community to really 3 basic roles for ourselves, and I'll let you know what those are and give you a little bit of an example. And once I get through some of that, what I hope is that as an audience you might have a few questions for me so I can engage and talk a little bit maybe about what's going on here in Elmwood if that's what you want. But as I said, community foundations have 3 basic roles. They're grant makers, they're vehicles for philanthropy, and they're community leaders. Grant maker is the one that Galesburg has quickly become accustomed for the Galesburg Community Foundation. They have gotten the idea that we will give out resources to nonprofit organizations. In our really 5 grant cycles that we've had, we've granted over $1.3 million back to Galesburg from our endowment. We use our endowment as the economic engine to support the programs and projects and capital improvements of nonprofit organizations. We're restricted to give only to nonprofits. We do have a scholarship program where we can grant to students, but that would be the only individuals that would ever be able to receive scholarships from us. But granting is really the way community foundations, or at least the first way community foundations are distributing their resources. Vehicle for Philanthropy is kind of the second role of a community foundation. Vehicle for Philanthropy is really where you're plugging yourself or your organization or your business into using philanthropy as a tool to better your community. We have the flexibility to create named funds within the umbrella of our community foundation for specific purposes necessary either by the donor or from the community foundation's perspective for the area that we serve. An example of that, I don't know if anyone has been following the Woohoo contest, the Reader's Digest contest from Galesburg. It was all people talked about for a very long time in Galesburg, and it ended yesterday. Reader's Digest had this national contest where you could go pick your community and vote 10 times a day. Galesburg had over 2.3 million votes cast for it in this contest and came in second place. That was a big deal for Galesburg because Galesburg, it was just something to rally behind. We've discovered around 13,000 people had registered themselves to be able to vote for Galesburg. That's half of our town. Half of our town got behind this little internet contest. So what the community foundation decided to do was, actually what happened was we were approached by the city of Galesburg as to what should we do with the prize money, which is $25,000. And what they asked is, could we, give it to the community foundation to create a fund that would go for youth and community programs forever? And we said, sure, you can absolutely do that. We will, though, throw some resource of ourselves into it. And so we gave $25,000 to it. So now we have a $50,000 endowment. We've talked to some business leaders who also want to give to it. And it appears that the business community in Galesburg will at least put $25,000 into it. The city of Galesburg is going to put another $25,000 into it, which gets us to $100,000. And on my way over here, I had gotten an email from random community members saying, we really appreciate what you're doing. We also want to give to it. I want to give the first $100. That's really what Vehicles for Philanthropy can be. Just creating a centralized location for people to give about the causes that they care about. The third thing that we do, or what we've defined, is community leadership. And that's where we take a more proactive stance to issues in our area. Issues that we're looking at right now are nonprofit governance. Because of the Community Foundation's model, the only thing that we can really grant our resources to are nonprofit organizations. In 2009, we had a one-day program called Ready, Set, Govern. But it was designed to give people just a shot in the arm, best practices of what good governance is, how you serve on a board of directors, what's your responsibilities, what's your fiduciary responsibility, who signs the 990, do you have to have a 990, just the basics. We had 28 organizations attend, I think over 80 people, and we did some pre-assessment and post-assessment, and it was give us more, give us more, give us more. We have nothing that trains our nonprofits, that's what we kept saying, and nothing that trains our board members. And so we developed the Certificate in Nonprofit Governance program.